When Josias walked into that event company's warehouse, no one first saw the clipboard in his hand or the schedule he had memorized from start to finish. They saw a black man, short, obese, moving with effort because of a leg prosthesis. The comments began before the good mornings. Little laughs, whispered nicknames, jokes about the company mascot. He pretends not to hear, but every word pushes deeper, the feeling that he's only there to carry boxes forever, quietly. What no one imagines is that in a single night, the mascot will be the one who saves them all. Since childhood, Josias learned to be last in line. Black, with dwarfism, overweight, and using a prosthetic leg after a teenage accident, he grew up hearing that his destiny was hard labor and eternal gratitude. While others played in the street, he helped his mother with odd jobs, pulling carts, carrying bags, listening to joke after joke. The event company seemed at first like a fresh start, steady work, signed contract, promises of growth. On paper, he was a logistics assistant. In reality, no one believed he could organize anything. No one bothered to ask what he actually knew. In the first month, co-workers quickly realized Josias handled the boxes like no one else. It wasn't because he was strong, as they mocked. It was because he knew his own body, his own limits, and had learned to use every inch of space and every minute of time with surgical precision. Even so, the nickname stuck. Company mascot. When he walked in, prosthesis squeaking, someone always dropped a one-liner about special effects entering the scene. They laughed loudly, as if his presence existed only to entertain their exhaustion, never to truly contribute. Behind the scenes, the comments were even worse. They said big clients can't see that, pointing at his entire body, as if he were a faulty piece of equipment. On important visit days, they sent Josias to the back of the warehouse, hidden between trusses and cables, as if his disability, skin color, weight and height were some kind of manufacturing defect that might damage the brand. In a quick meeting, he heard the manager say, not realizing Josias was behind the door, "Leave that one where he is, doing manual logistics." Imagine putting someone like that in front of sponsors. Right then, his hand squeezed the clipboard strap even tighter, and his whole body burned. On the outside, he kept doing what they told him, carrying boxes, pushing carts, laying cables on the floor. On the inside, something quietly locked into place. He knew every entrance, every outlet, every setup time, every quirk of the suppliers. While they laughed at how he looked, Josias, unnoticed, had mentally mapped the heart of every single event. He knew more about the company than any hallway comedian in there, no matter how sharp their suits or their tongues. Everything started to change the week the company closed the biggest contract of the year, a massive event, 3 stages, important guests, and a live broadcast. Management celebrated, promised bonuses, but the organization turned into chaos in a matter of hours. Mixed up dates, trucks scheduled at the same time, equipment sent to the wrong venue. While the bosses pointed fingers at each other inside the air-conditioned room, it was Josias who ran from one corner of the warehouse to the other, trying to save the broken puzzle alone. Tired of putting out fires without being heard, he took the work home. Using an old notebook and a basic cell phone, he built a full schedule. Arrival times, setup order, the right team in each sector, rest breaks, backup plans for late suppliers. He turned it all into a visual map that anyone could understand. The next day, he offered the plan to the manager, who barely glanced at it and muttered, "Just do it your way as long as nothing is late." Silently, Josias put his plan into action, coordinating co-workers who, without realizing it, were following his instructions. Every mic in place, every speaker positioned, every cable protected. When one of the trucks broke down on the road, it was Josias's Plan B that prevented a delay on the main stage. When the power flickered, he already knew where to pull extra load from without crashing the system. Between laughs and disdain, no one connected his name to the solutions. But the closer the event got, the clearer it became that if the mascot stopped for a single day, everything would collapse, along with the illusion that their prejudice was just jokes. He had no leadership title, no fancy badge, not the body they expected to see in charge, but he had full vision of the operation, something no tie-tightening manager had taken the time to develop. On event day, the mood was pure nerves. Luxury cars arriving, big sponsors, cameras testing lights, the client pacing back and forth with a face that said, "I don't accept excuses." In the backstage, a gross management error nearly sank everything. They swapped setup times for 2 stages, forgot to confirm a lighting supplier, and sent half the crew to the wrong area. When they realized, there were just a few hours left before doors opened. The main manager went pale. Someone said, "If this runs late, our contract is gone." That was the first time anyone looked at Josias, not as a joke, but as a last hope. He took a deep breath, grabbed his scribbled clipboard and, without raising his voice, started to reassign tasks. He sent one truck to back up, another straight to the side gate, changed the build order, activated the backup lighting plan. Co-workers who always laughed at his body and prosthesis followed his directions without arguing, realizing he was the only one who actually knew what he was doing. In a few hours, chaos turned into a straight line. When the lights came on, the sound hit at the exact second, and the host opened the show without a single minute of delay. The client exhaled in relief. At the end of the night, he called management over to praise the flawless organization. The manager, trying to look good, started talking about team effort. The client cut him off and asked, "Who was responsible for the schedule? I want to look that person in the eyes." Silence fell heavy. Everyone turned at the same time toward the short, black, obese man with the prosthetic leg shining under the stage lights, still holding the clipboard in his trembling hand. In that moment, they all understood who had truly carried those events on his shoulders day after day, without recognition or pay to match. The following week, the company announced changes. They created a new position, head of event logistics, and to the surprise of anyone who was really paying attention, Josias's name was written there in large letters on the office wall. The same co-workers who used to call him mascot now stood waiting for his instructions about schedules, loads and routes. The prosthesis was still there, the dwarfism, the big body, the black skin, none of that had changed. What changed was the lens of those who were finally forced to see beyond the easy joke. Maybe you too have been treated as a burden, an extra, a mistake, someone who should be grateful just to stay hidden in the back. Maybe they laugh at you to your face or quietly when you turn around. But none of that laughter pays bills, signs contracts, saves projects or builds futures. What you quietly do every single day does. If Josias's story stirred something inside you, comment, "I am not decoration" below. Subscribe to Unstoppable Underrated and share this video with someone who needs the reminder. The person they treat as a punchline today might very well be the one calling the shots tomorrow, and that person might be you.